What's going on, guys, and welcome to today's video where we're going to be going through illogical solutions to real problems that you may be facing in your clinic. And what I mean by an illogical solution essentially is a solution where we're not just solving the obvious problem with the obvious solution, because that can sometimes be extremely hard to do. Now, before I go any further, please do like and subscribe. It helps us with the YouTube algorithm to reach more people, to help more people, and to create a bigger impact. Awesome. All right, now that you've done that one for me, thank you very much. Today, let's talk through a common problem. Now, this was something that I talked through with a clinic owner recently. And one of the problems we wanted to fix was around patients or clients waiting for appointments, and when the practitioner in particular was running late. And so we considered a whole range of solutions, right? We considered, well, can we have a longer appointment time? Okay, so that practitioners don't then run late, because this was a real problem for clients. They're getting frustrated with sort of 4 to 6 minute wait times past the time when they were meant to be going in, which is, by the way, way better than when I go to my GP. Okay, lovely guy, but always overbooked. Sometimes hour and a half late. Crazy times. But in this scenario here, we considered things such as, or the logical solution of, well, either we can decrease the care of the treatment that happens in the session, and we can become more efficient at that. That then becomes a training challenge, and that will cost a lot of money to improve it that way. A lot of money, a lot of time, a lot of resources. Not to say we shouldn't do this, by the way. Another option we came up with was, well, what if we actually increase the length of the sessions? Again, that could be very effective. And if we did that, what would happen? It would cost the clinic more money, essentially, or they'd have to increase the price of the sessions. Or what you may find happen is that the time taken to run the session elongates again, and they still run late. Okay. Now we kind of thought, what's an illogical solution to this, or what's a different way of looking at this? And so we came up with a solution that I find quite interesting, which was, what if we improve the experience of waiting and improve the experience of your practitioner running quite late? So by improving the experience, we looked at, think of it this way: when you're waiting at an airport and you're waiting for your flight. Now, if you're just sitting there in a cold, hard seat and it's really packed and it's uncomfortable and it's loud and it's impersonal, it doesn't feel very good, okay? You're not super happy to be waiting for that flight that's 10, 20, 30 minutes delayed. But what if you're in an airport lounge where it's really comfortable, you get some nice coffee, tea, you can relax, you've got more room, it's more tranquil, you're more happy to wait. Now, the wait time doesn't change, but the experience of waiting changes, okay? So that was one thing. We kind of started to look at, well, what are the things we can improve in the experience so that whilst the wait time doesn't change, the experience of waiting improves. Perfect. That's number one. Now, number two, we said, well, how could we almost make people happy if someone was running a little bit late? So we had a little bit of a look around to go, well, what happens? How late do people actually run? And how often would a practitioner run more than 10 minutes late? And what we found is almost never was it more than 10 minutes. Yeah, the wait time, we sort of looked 4, 6, 7 minutes was the time that they'd typically go past. Very seldom did it go 10 minutes or more. And we're talking less than once a week. So what we thought is, what if we had a policy within the business, within the clinic, where if your practitioner is more than 10 minutes late, you get your session for free? Because we thought about, well, think of it like this. You go in to see your practitioner, the experience of waiting is better, it's improved. But now your practitioner is running 5 minutes late. Two examples here. One of them, they're running 5 minutes late, and if they're 10, 15, 20 minutes late, you just go in and have your session as normal. A little bit frustrated. Now, the other one, they're running 5 minutes late. However, if they hit 10 minutes late, you get your session for free. Two very different feelings in that scenario for most people. Okay, let's get a really important thing to get to straight afterwards. The one where there's no consequence for the clinic or the business, at 5 minutes past your appointment time, you're probably a little bit frustrated. Conversely, 5 minutes past your appointment time, and you know that if it hits 10 minutes past, the session's free, it's on the clinic, you're actually maybe even excited. You're actually going, another 5 minutes, oh, wouldn't mind that. And relax here, have a coffee, play on my phone, scroll Instagram, whatever it may be. You can see how we haven't actually changed anything there. We've just changed the experience of waiting and what people are focusing on. And so that's just one example within a healthcare clinic. You would want to make sure that your team understands that, and you're not just giving away free sessions everywhere, and that there's a good understanding of what's the average wait time, how often would this typically happen, and how does that actually play out? Which is the clock? If someone's watch is running a little bit fast, how does that work? Whatever it may be. But all we've done there in that example is change the experience of waiting, change what people are focusing on. That's what we've done. And we can go from really unhappy to be waiting to almost hoping it takes a little bit longer. And you can think of other areas within the business where we don't necessarily have to improve something that may be very, very costly to improve in the short term. We can look at how can we improve the psychology of it, improve the experience so that people perceive it in a different way. And if we can change someone's perception, we can add more value to the experience at a very low cost. Another example of this one. Now, this is not a clinic example, but I was reading a book recently called Alchemy. I highly recommend you read this one by Rory Sutherland. And one thing that they found was that people like certainty. People really like certainty. And that's one of the reasons why Uber has been so successful with their Uber map. So when you order an Uber, a couple of things. You know how much the trip is going to cost, certainty. And you can see the little car, it tells you how far away he is, so you can see when he's going to get there. So people have certainty. And because they have certainty, the wait time or the experience of waiting is improved. Because when you order a taxi, right? If you order a taxi and the taxi, it could take 2 minutes, 5 minutes, 10, 20 minutes. But if you don't know how far away it is, well, then you're sort of sitting there the whole time, kind of near the door, like, oh, do I go out? Do I not go out? What if he leaves? Etc. Whereas with the Uber app, you can just see. You also don't know often how much the taxi is going to charge you. Whereas Uber, you've got a pretty good idea of what you're going to pay, maybe with a toll or a surcharge here or there. So consider this challenge. In your clinic, how could you improve the certainty of the patient experience or the patient journey? What things could you put along the way that help patients to feel more certain about the outcome? If you can help people to feel more certain about the outcome, they're going to feel like they're going to have a better experience. They're going to be more inclined to come. They're going to be more inclined to comply with what you ask them to do, and they're going to become better long-term clients and more likely to hit their outcomes. Okay, so just thinking back on how can you improve the certainty? How can you improve their perceived likelihood of success? And you can think about this for different stages along the customer journey. Good question to consider, good question to think about, my friends. Hopefully you've taken something from this video. It's interesting when you start to think of these things differently because we often all look for the same solutions to the same problems. However, when we start to think outside the box, often we start to come up with some really good ideas and they don't always have to be super costly. We don't always have to be having huge capital expenditure or team training expenditure to actually improve that experience. All right, my friends, I hope you got something out of this video. These are really fun to create, but I'd love to know, what would you like to hear more about as a clinic owner, and how can we continue to help you to grow your clinic? As always, leave a comment below and I'll get back to them as fast as possible. Really appreciate all of your interactions, all of your views, and we will see you in the next lesson.